groceries, back-to-school supplies, and summer deals. Without warning, a man pulled a folding knife and began slashing through the checkout area. Screams echoed as chaos unfolded. Carts toppled, children cried, and people rushed to escape. 11 victims were attacked in minutes. Some elderly, others young, all caught in sudden horror. Witnesses described blood on the linoleum floor, aisles littered with dropped purses and groceries. Customers panicked, some running toward exits, others hiding behind shelves and counters in fear. One victim collapsed near the registers, clutching wounds as bystanders shouted for help. The suspect moved fast, stabbing indiscriminately, creating waves of terror through the store. Families clutched children, praying to survive as security alarms blared and chaos grew. Among shoppers were Marine veterans who recognized the urgency and acted without hesitation. They ran toward danger, using military instincts to subdue the knife-wielding attacker. Witnesses reported a struggle as veterans tackled the suspect, pinning him to the ground. Their swift bravery likely prevented even more deaths, stopping him before more lives were taken. Police arrived within minutes, handcuffing the subdued suspect as paramedics rushed to victims. Emergency responders carried bleeding victims out on stretchers, racing to nearby hospitals. Helicopters flew overhead as trauma units prepared for multiple critical stabbing injuries. Authorities confirmed 11 victims stabbed, several elderly, some critically injured in brutal assault. A community shaken watched news alerts as names and conditions slowly came forward. Walmart closed, cordoned by yellow tape, now a crime scene filled with evidence markers. Investigators collected knives, clothing, blood samples, and surveillance footage from every corner. Eyewitness testimony painted a chilling picture of random violence and raw human panic. Families of victims gathered at hospitals, desperate for updates and holding hands in prayer. Doctors confirmed some survivors stable, others clinging to life, requiring multiple surgeries. Children traumatized described screams, blood, and running as fast as they could with parents. Psychologists warned the mental scars may last long after physical wounds begin to heal. Authorities launched a terrorism probe, unsure if motive tied to ideology, hatred, or mental illness. Police chief held press conference, calling it an unspeakable act of violence against innocents. The suspect's identity withheld initially. As investigators dug into background and prior arrests, rumors spread online. Some feared organized attack, others blamed failures in security screening. FBI joined investigation, reviewing whether suspect radicalized or acting under mental breakdown. Social media exploded with videos footage of chaos filmed by shoppers fleeing the scene. Comments praised Marine veterans, calling them heroes for tackling attacker without hesitation. News outlets replayed shaky footage of panicked customers running toward emergency exits. Community vigils began within hours, candles glowing outside Walmart's parking lot at dusk. Locals left flowers, posters reading "Pray for Traverse City" taped to nearby light poles. Churches opened doors for counseling, offering prayers and support for shaken survivors. Walmart released statement mourning tragedy, promising support for victims' families and community. Politicians condemned attack, pledging stronger measures to protect public spaces from violence. Parents hugged children tighter, fearful ordinary shopping trips could turn deadly in seconds. Hospitals reported doctors working non-stop to treat stab wounds, blood loss, and shock. Trauma surgeons described injuries as severe, consistent with fast repeated knife strikes. Some victims underwent emergency chest surgeries, fighting to keep hearts beating through night. Others faced deep lacerations to arms, legs, and backs, many requiring transfusions. Blood banks sent urgent calls for donations. Community rallied to help survivors. Volunteers lined up, giving blood for victims they never met but felt connected to. One victim, an elderly man, was remembered as kind neighbor who shopped same store weekly. Friends of another victim described her as young mother, stabbed while protecting her child. Each survivor carried story of courage, pain, and community's refusal to abandon them. Traverse City residents united in grief, resilience, and demand for justice and answers. Police revealed suspects' criminal past, including minor offenses escalating to violent tendencies. Investigators searched suspects' home for writings, devices, or signs of planned attack. Nothing immediate suggested ideology, but police refused to rule out extremist motives. Mental health records hinted possible instability, raising questions about missed warning signs. Some community leaders argued stronger systems needed to intervene before violence erupts. Experts debated whether better screening, therapy, or monitoring could have stopped the attack. The Marine veterans became celebrated figures, praised for courage in chaos and bravery. Interviews showed their humility, stating they simply acted to protect innocent lives. One veteran said, "We saw fear in their eyes, we couldn't east and back and do nothing." Their actions highlighted importance of courage when systems fail in moments of crisis. Survivors spoke softly, voices trembling, recalling screams, blood, and strangers pulling them out. Some credited veterans and bystanders for saving their lives. During terrifying minutes, psychologists urged community to provide long-term trauma care for those reliving terror. Children described nightmares of knives, smoke, alarms, and never feeling safe shopping again. Parents struggled explaining how evil can strike in ordinary, everyday public spaces. Local schools offered grief counseling for children present during the stabbing attack. Community center organized fundraisers, raising thousands for victims. Hospital bills. Businesses donated meals, supplies, and comfort items for victims' families. National organizations pledged funds, promising Traverse City would not face tragedy alone. Candlelight vigils continued nightly, songs and prayers filling Walmart's darkened parking lot. Authorities pledged security audits for public spaces, fearing repeat attacks in future. Metal detectors and more guards were proposed, sparking debates over public freedom. Survivors demanded accountability why no one stopped attackers sooner. Despite warnings, critics asked why staff lacked panic training for handling violent intruder emergencies. Walmart promised retraining, safety drills, and crisis response upgrades for all staff. Media highlighted flaws in emergency response. Fire alarms confused shoppers more than helped. Senators promised funding for community safety, citing Traverse City as painful wake-up call. National debate reignited over public safety, gun control, and knife regulation measures. Citizens demanded answers. What pushed man to stab innocents? In broad daylight? Investigators promised full transparency as terrorism probe continues into 2025. Families of victims remain devastated, lives forever changed by senseless act of violence. Traverse City, once quiet and picturesque, now bears scars of a tragedy etched in memory. Survivors fight to heal, carrying both physical and emotional wounds from attack. Some vow to never shop at Walmart again, haunted by memories of blood and screams. The store, though repaired, may never escape identity as site of mass stabbing. Horror, children will remember alarms, panic, veterans tackling man, and safety shattered forever. Candle flames flicker nightly as community prays for healing, closure, and lasting justice. Prosecutors prepare case, charging suspect with multiple counts of attempted murder and terrorism. Families brace for trial, determined voices echo, "We will not let victims be forgotten." Traverse City mourns but also rises, proving even in blood and fear, community endures.